Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're decoding the art of songwriting, and specifically, we're zeroing in on how to find and refine the absolute most important element of your story, the hook. You know, if you've ever sat down to write a meaningful song, but honestly just found yourself totally lost in the weeds of the lyrics before you even knew what you were trying to say, well, you are in the exact right place. Okay, let's just jump right in. Why do some songs stay with us for literally years, while others completely disappear after just one listen? This really gets to the core of why some messages stick and others just fade away. We all know that exact feeling, right? You hear a track once, and for the next decade, a specific lyric will just randomly echo in your mind. But then, there are countless other songs we hear and instantly forget. The difference? It almost always comes down to how the creator crafted the hook. To answer that question and really figure this out, we're going to break the whole process down into 6 clear sections. First, the emotional anchor. Second, anatomy of a great hook. Third, finding your core phrase. Fourth, destination and repetition. Fifth, testing for authenticity. And finally, AI as a thinking partner. All right, section 1, the emotional anchor. Let's build our understanding of what a hook actually is before we even attempt to write one. So we need to completely shift our paradigm here. A true hook isn't just a catchy pop melody. I mean, sometimes it is, sure, but a truly effective hook is so much more than that. It's literally the emotional anchor of your entire message. It's the solid ground that holds your whole story in place. It's that one singular takeaway that you want the listener to carry with them into tomorrow. Think of it this way. It's the sentence they sing in the car. When the radio is turned off and it's just quiet, what are people actually singing? They aren't singing your super complicated verses. They're singing that one clear, emotionally resonant sentence. If someone only remembers a single line from your song, it's going to be this hook. Moving on to section 2, anatomy of a great hook. Now that we know what it represents, let's deconstruct exactly what makes it work in practice. Now, the great news here is that this takes a ton of the pressure off. You aren't trying to write complicated, elaborate poetry just to impress people. Actually, scratch that. You're just aiming for simple, believable conversation. It is incredibly easy to fall into the trap of thinking you need this massive, impressive vocabulary to write a great song. But in reality, real people rarely speak in elaborate poetry. They say things like, "I'll make it through," or "Grace found me." These phrases hit hard specifically because they're believable. Simple doesn't mean shallow. Simple actually means stronger because your listener doesn't have to struggle to understand you. Which brings us to section 3, finding your core phrase. So where do these magical, simple sentences actually come from? Let's look at the concrete blueprint. Finding your hook really comes down to a super simple 2-step funnel. Step 1, read your one-sentence summary. Step 2, condense it down into 5 to 8 memorable words. Remember, you should always start with a clear one-sentence summary of what your song is about. But for a hook, we need to condense that even further. Don't even worry about rhyming right now. Don't worry about the music. Just search for those 5 to 8 words that perfectly capture the entire emotional weight of the song. Just listen to these phrases. Not mine to fix. Teach me to trust. Peace after the storm. When grace found me. They don't need any explanation, do they? They instantly communicate an emotional direction. If I say not mine to fix, you instantly understand the emotional landscape of that song without me having to explain a thing. That instant understanding is exactly what makes a strong hook. The listener immediately grasps the feeling. Okay, section 4, destination and repetition. How do we actually position that core phrase within the structure of your story so the audience actually hears it? Well, by writing the chorus first, you establish your destination, which ensures your verses have a clear path to follow. This actually surprises a lot of beginning writers. They usually try to write verse 1, then verse 2, and then sort of stumble into figuring out a chorus. But if the chorus is the destination, the answer to what this song is trying to say, you need to know that answer first. Once your chorus feels right and your destination is completely locked in, your verses will naturally just build the path that guides your listeners right to it. Now, a lot of people think repetition is uncreative. It's not. It's an absolutely essential songwriting tool that creates comfort, connection, and reinforces the exact truth you don't want your listener to miss. People sometimes dodge repeating words because they think it makes them look lazy, but hey, people remember what they hear more than once. If your core message only shows up one single time in a 4-minute song, the listener's gonna miss it. Think of repetition as your way of gently nudging the audience and saying, hey, pay attention here. This is the most important part. And crucially, you must let the hook breathe. Not every single moment needs more lyrics. Simplicity is what allows the listener to truly absorb the message. Sometimes the absolute strongest emotional moments happen when the music just has room to breathe. So don't be afraid to leave some empty space around your hook. One sincere, grounded sentence with some space around it is way more powerful than a rushed paragraph that the listener just can't digest. All right, section 5, testing for authenticity. Finding the first idea is rarely the same as finding the best idea, so we really need to stress test our hook. You can run your idea through a few quick self-audit questions. Could someone remember this after one listen? Does it sound like a real person talking? Does it capture the heart of the song, and would I feel comfortable singing it repeatedly? If you can't answer yes to these, no worries. It just means you need to keep refining until it feels completely authentic to you. Ask yourself honestly, if I heard this once, would it stick? Does it sound like an actual human being speaking or someone trying a bit too hard to be profound? If the answer is no, you just have a bit more discovering to do. And finally, section 6, AI as a thinking partner. Let's explore how modern tools can actually help us during that refinement process without losing the soul of the song. The main takeaway here is that artificial intelligence should never replace your voice. It's simply a conversational brainstorming partner. AI suggests, but you decide. A lot of folks think AI songwriting means typing a prompt into a computer and getting a finished masterpiece back. But look, AI hasn't lived your life, it hasn't felt your emotions, and it certainly doesn't know your story. It's just there to suggest, to brainstorm, and to help organize. You are the creator. You make the final decisions. By asking the right questions, you invite the technology into the editing process. You can ask things like, what are 5 different ways to express this idea? Or, can you make the sentence shorter? Or, which version feels more conversational? This is an incredibly powerful way to get unstuck. It gives you different options to react to while leaving the entire creative control safely in your hands. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to guide your own creative journey. If someone only remembers one line from your story, what will it be? Every time you sit down to create, let that question be your compass. Strip away the complex poetry, strip away the need to impress, and just find that one true, simple phrase. Find your emotional anchor. Discover your hook, and you will discover the heart of a song that people carry with them forever. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and have a blast with the creative process.